Hi there, and welcome to a post by Ange. I'm Angela, and today's Does It DIY is candy shot glasses. Now, this pen takes me way back. I've had it on one of my boards for probably 8 to 9 years since I joined Pinterest. And it was originally intended for a group of my friends who annually attend a cottage. It was always something I wanted to do, something I never came to do. So I figured, why not give it a shot and see if it actually works? First things first, collecting supplies. So I head on to Amazon.ca and ordered this nifty shot glass mold. As you can see, it shows 4 usages with this mold, so I'm going to test all 4 out. Second comes the shopping, so I grabbed some hard candies, some chocolate chip melts, and some gelatin. Now, I'm quite confident that using ice to mold a shot glass, it absolutely is going to work. I have other silicone molds. I know it's going to work, so I have no questions or doubts in regards to will I get an ice glass shooter. The other one that I'm really confident in is the hard candy. I believe this one's going to for sure work just because, again, I'm going to melt them down and then let them dry and harden once again. So I feel like those will pop out of the mold quite easily. However, my doubts are with the gelatin and the chocolate. I'm worried that they're going to break or crack upon demolding them, but we'll see what I have to work with. Wish me luck. Knowing that this absolutely is going to work, I've done it before with different molds, I chose to cut up some kiwi, some strawberries, and just using some blueberries. And I'm just going to alternate inserting them into the shot glass mold so it looks nice and colorful. There's no specific pattern. And then just laying some across the top so that the bottoms will be covered as well. Adding water, and into the freezer it goes. A few hours have passed and you can see it's nice and hard now. The water has now frozen, and I'm just popping the shot glasses out of the mold, and they turned out pretty fantastic. I knew this was going to work, and the possibilities are endless here. You know, at Christmas time, you could freeze some pine with cranberry in it, or some cranberry and cinnamon. And in the summertime, you could put some edible flowers into this mold. And here are the final results. They look perfect. I love these. I'm going to use these all the time now. On to making a gelatin mold. So I used the gelatin from the bulk supply store. However, I didn't want it just to be plain, unflavored gelatin, so I went online and I found this Martha Stewart recipe that said you can use any type of juice you'd like, pulp or not, so I chose to use orange juice and add the gelatin in. However, when I read the recipe online, it was in grams, and I'm used to working with tablespoons, teaspoons, and cups, so had to go back and recalculate the measurements of gelatin. So I added a few extra scoops in and stirred the gelatin into the orange juice mixture and poured it within the mold. All ready for the fridge. I'll see you in a few hours. I checked on the gelatin until it felt nice and firm, and then I started to work the gelatin out of the mold. I found that it came out pretty easy, the first quarter of it, and then the last part, it just fell apart. It was so sad. Feeling more determined, I decided it was time for a redo. So this is attempt number 2 on a gelatin mold. I looked up a specific recipe for gelatin shot glass molds, and it said to use some vegetable oil to grease the inside of the mold. That way it will help to pop the mold out better. And they also suggested using instant gelatin mixture as well as extra gelatin unflavored powder. So there we go, we have the instant mixture with the gelatin powder, and I'm going to mix that all up with water. I'm really feeling more confident now with the extra gelatin being within the bowl. I think it's going to create a harder mold. However, I'm not sure if it's going to be edible or if it's going to taste good. So here we are. Into the fridge it goes. See you in a few. Repeating the same process, I'm just going to slowly push the gelatin out of the mold and give it a little twist in order to release it from the inner part of the mold, and it worked so much better. There was no splitting or cracking at all. I guess with the right recipe, anything will work out perfectly. Look at how beautiful those are. Oh, they're so pretty and jiggly. All right, it's time to test out chocolate. And what I have here is some chocolate melts that I got from the bulk supply store. And I just filled up a pot halfway with water and placed a mixing bowl over top. And once the water within the pot boils, this will create enough heat in order to melt down that chocolate. So I'm just waiting for that process to begin. Now that the chocolate has been fully melted, I'm ready to transfer it into the silicone molds. And now that I'm doing my voiceover, I'm thinking it would be quite cool to, put some chopped up almonds or some dried fruit into this chocolate mixture just to make it a little bit extra fancy. Maybe even some marshmallows, that would be pretty cool. But anyways, getting back to what I'm doing, this is just plain chocolate. I'm using the back of the spoon to massage the bottoms to make sure they're as flat as possible. Into the fridge it goes. Once again, a few hours have passed, and now that the chocolate is fully cooled, I'm popping it out of the silicone mold and just pinching the inner part of the mold to help release the chocolate. As you can see, it came out quite seamlessly, and I'm really satisfied with the final results. How cute are these? I love it. All right, here I am in the home stretch. Hard candies it is. So I chose Jolly Ranchers. It was what was available at the local bulk store. This was a very tedious process, unwrapping each individual candy and stuffing it deep into the mold. At first it wasn't problematic, but the more I did this, the more residue of the candy ended up on my fingers, so it got really sticky, and little bits of the candy was flaking off of the wrappers and ending up all over my countertop and stove. However, I persevered through this and just continued to stuff the candies deep into the mold. I really wanted to make sure there was as little space as possible, so I wasn't too cautious as to how gentle I needed to be. I knew I really needed to wedge them deep in there. I was alternating colors as well to try and give it a mosaic effect. At least that's what I'm trying to go for here. And once the molds were filled all the way around the circumference, I just laid a few of the hard candies over the top to melt down as the base of the shot glass. As I was doing this process, I had preheated the oven to 375 degrees, and I'm putting it in for 15 minutes. It looks like once it came out of the oven, it was all gooey and a little discolored. I was concerned at first, but I just used again the spoon to push down the candy and help to release any air bubbles. Once again, I had put the mold into the fridge, and in hindsight, I probably should have just left it on the counter because putting it into the fridge actually created a bunch of teeny tiny bubbles. It does have a cool effect though, so I'm not too disappointed in that. And again, they popped out quite easily. It was really sticky and messy on my fingers though. Here's the final product. It turned out pretty good. It has that mosaic effect to it. So I'm going to test these shot glasses both with a liquid, I'm going to use water, as well as some whipping cream. Look at this, they all held water and whipping cream. Amazing. I seriously just can't wait to see the reaction on my friends and family's faces when I throw these into the mix. Oh, one of my cats wants to say hi. This is Nala, and she loves me very much. As you can see, she doesn't like being held. Anyways, thanks for tuning in once again to A Post by Ange. I'm Angela, and I can't wait to see you next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my page.